to Forza Horizon 4, where as you can see we have another new car for the autumn season, which is of course the Ford GT70, which you actually only have to do one seasonal event to unlock, which is pretty good. Usually you have to do like 50% of a season or something, which can take a little while. But yeah, this one is just for one seasonal event, one championship, which was quite easy. Last week, you might remember, we had a look at... what was the new car? Last week we had the... of course we did. We had the Zenvo with the wobbly wing, which all you had to do was take a photo for that. So that one was pretty easy as well. If you haven't seen the video on that, that was up at the same time last week. But yeah, this week today it is the Ford GT70. Next week we will be having a look at the Ford Escort, and in spring we will be having a look at the new RX-7. But yeah, this week it is the Ford GT70, which I have already gone in and won, as you can see, so let's quickly jump into that. Go over some of the details on the car before we see what upgrades and stuff are available, see if we want to do anything particular with it. So here it is, 1970 Ford GT70. Surprisingly, I'm guessing that's where the name comes from. It's not because of its height like the GT40, because it's not that much taller, I don't think. But yeah, kind of quite an unknown car, this. I didn't actually know anything about the GT70 before hearing it was going to get added. But yeah, this is what it looks like. And it's sort of plain, not in its rally colours, which is a bit of a clue. So yeah, a 1970 Ford, actually built by Ford UK, so similar team, I'm guessing, to the GT40. We know it had the same chief engineer as the GT40, so it's kind of the sibling car to that, I guess, although it came out slightly later. But yes, it was designed originally for rallying with a V6 engine, but wasn't very successful because the engine had a high centre of gravity and the frame wasn't stiff enough, so it kind of wobbled about and suffered breakdowns and things, and wasn't brilliant. They did eventually swap the V6 for an inline 4, not quite sure what we're running in this, we'll have to have a look when we get to the festival, which is just down the road. But yeah, it wasn't very successful, and Ford were also developing the Ford Escort, which was obviously a road car. They were also developing that for rallying, and that had more success. So in 1973 they basically got rid of this program, having only built 6 cars and not really entered anything or really won anything with them. So yeah, that was partly because of the Escort being successful and partly because of WRC rule changes. Meant this never really did anything. So only 6 were produced in those 3 years, and we're going to have 20 million of them driving everywhere in Forza suddenly. Let's get into the festival quite quickly before too much music is played. But yeah, that's kind of what this car is. So similar to the GT, well, same engineer as the GT40, but obviously built for rallying, not successful, and dropped quite quickly in favour of the Escort, which we're actually getting one of next week, so that'll be quite interesting. But yeah, let's have a quick look actually at... let's start with this. I'm interested to see, have we got any stats on the engine? No, but there is an inline 4 turbo rally and inline 4 turbo, which I don't think I've seen that engine before. Maybe that is the alternate engine. Hang on, I'm going to back out of here quickly so we can see what this is running. Whether it is running the V6 or the inline 4, because that will be interesting to check. So if we go and change car, flip down here, we see it's got, you can see the displacement of it and figure out very quickly which engine that is. So this is, okay, that's slightly weird. You can hear it's, in the game it's a 1.9, which doesn't make much sense, because either it should be a 1.6 inline 4 or a 2.6 V6, depending on which engine it is, so that's slightly weird. Anyway, let's see if we can swap in an inline 4, because it handled better with that. That was kind of what it ended up using. So I think 2-litre inline 4. Have we got a 1.6? There we go. 1.6 inline 4 is what it ended up running, so I think if we go with that... Oh, interesting, it's rear-wheel drive. So yeah, this was obviously quite a while back before things like the Quattro kind of made everyone bring all-wheel drive cars all of a sudden, didn't it? Right, so we've got our usual Forza Aero, which isn't terribly interesting. Let's kind of go... Yeah, we've got standard or rally. That kind of makes sense. So let's go rally, 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 and see what we can do with this. I'm assuming we've got some nice rallying liveries that people have made, so that'll be quite cool. And then we'll take it on our usual dirt trail. There's one that I've taken all the rally cars down. Not a race or anything, just found a nice dirt track that I've used for testing out some of the... Because we had the big rally car update recently. Well, all the cars in a recent series were all rally cars. So. Can we put on some rally springs? There we go, raise it up a bit. Which does look a little bit weird, but it's what we want. I think we'll leave that, because it'll already have kind of race weight reduction. Let's fully upgrade this engine, though, which is going to put it mid S1 class, which is probably a little bit faster than it should be, but it should be fun. So, let's do that. And, yeah, we'll see how we get on. So it's probably running more power and less... Well, I haven't really taken weight out. It's probably running more power than it should be, and it'll probably have more grip than it should have. So, if we have a quick look at what normal colours there are before we have a look what the community has made, because there's a racing paint that I've seen on it quite a lot, a sort of yellow and green that I've seen a lot of people do. But I'm sure we saw that in the Forza stream, so I don't... Yeah, there we go. That one, the replica GT70. I'm sure I've seen that colour quite a lot. There's some Golf ones that are trying to be GT40s, which look a little bit weird. So I think... Do we go with the... I think that's probably the best, which is why 1,000 people have downloaded it. Let's put that on it and take it to some dirt tracks to see how it does actually going off-road, which is obviously, like I said, what it was designed for. But yeah, ended up with most success with this engine. The V6 was just too heavy and sat too high in the car, so... Yeah, not quite the V8 engined GT40 that was so successful on tracks. They kind of hoped this would be the same in rallying, I guess, but anyway. Like I said, that's why they ended up using the Escort instead, which we're getting next week, so that will be interesting. Actually, it might be worth putting those up against each other, just to see what the difference is. Okay, so if you didn't watch any of the ones with the previous rally cars, basically I go and start down here, follow this dirt road all the way up to the coast, and that's my sort of dirt test route. I've not done any timings with these or anything, I've just driven it down here to see what it feels like. We've done that with things like the Racing Puma and the 2 Celicas and I can't remember what else is, the Starion I guess it was, whatever else is added in that update. Most of those cars ran down here. So yeah, this is the BP coloured one, which I believe was the colour was the paint scheme they put on the one with the smaller engine once they converted it. But yeah, I think all 6 are still in existence. Some have been used as prototypes and show cars and things for slightly different vehicles, but yeah, anyway. I haven't really looked in here. Okay, I've got the full roll cage. It kind of looks very much like a race or rally car. You've got that view over the spotlights in the front, which is cool. Anyway, let's go this way. It's a bit too powerful, I think, in rear-wheel drive and not having much grip. Yes, that was probably a mistake, putting quite that much power in it. Putting quite that much power in it and leaving it rear-wheel drive was possibly a mistake. I'm going to have to take this quite easy. Maybe I should be running a stock engine conversion. I should have just swapped that and left it, but anyway.
Arrived at your destination.
Yeah, I've made this kind of undrivable. Either needs to be all-wheel drive with this much power, or rear-wheel drive with a bit less power, I think. Not too bad once you kind of get used to it, but his head's sliding out of control again. Pretty sure we got up this trail quite a lot faster than the other cars, but quite a lot less sideways, which is obviously far less fun. This is just a bit of a handful. And maybe this is what they found with the real one. They said the chassis wasn't really stiff enough for rallying. Maybe I should have put a roll cage in or something. But yeah, on first sort of impressions of this, I don't think I'm going to be using it for anything. Or building it to any particular class. I don't think it's going to be that good for anything, but it's a cool thing to be added. I like the story behind it. It's just a shame it was never really successful. Yeah, we'll see if the Escort next week feels a lot nicer to drive than this, which it really should. Given it kind of ended up taking off where this left. Right, that's not gone well, has it? Well, we are pretty much at the end of the trail. I thought I wanted to take them down, so
You have arrived at your
that's probably going to
destination.
do it for a first look at this car. So, yeah, the way I've tuned it, it's not brilliant, but yeah, it doesn't feel like it would be particularly good for anything. This is kind of usually what I do with cars. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the Escort handles next week, see if that is slightly more controllable with a similar sort of tune on it. And we'll have to see if it's worth comparing the two, either modified or in their stock configurations. We'll have to see. But yeah, that is going to do it for a look at the GT70. So, yeah, if you haven't already seen the video on the Zenvo, that went up same time last week. And I will be looking at the two new cars coming up. So, the Ford Escort next week, which again we're going to have to do 50% off the season for, which is kind of a shame, but that's fine, we'll do that. And then on to spring, there's the RX-7, the original RX-7 from '85, which again is only one championship, so that's not too bad. But yeah, that is going to do it for a first look at the Ford GT70 here on Forza Horizon 4. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back with the next video very soon.